Alright, I was talking a little bit about the ropes and Buckingham throttle and throw lines and work positioning lines and all that sort of stuff. In this last video, I'm going to continue with that because I think that people need to know some of these things. If you're getting into the tree business or tree work, or maybe you're at the bottom, you're the lower level Louis and you don't know nothing yet, you want to bone up on some of this stuff before you commit more than running the wood chipper. Alright, now I was talking a bit about my new Buckingham throttle a bit. The Blue Water Assault line, 11.4, 11.5 millimeter or whatever, does not want to run well in the throttle. It's a Courant rope, but that really means nothing. Mechanisms like this, whether it's this Buckingham or a Petzl mechanism or any other type of mechanical device like this, they're all going to be finicky. Some are going to like some ropes, some are not going to like others. You know, the best thing to do is to shop around, and I would say buy the device that you like, and then whatever ropes it works best with, then I would look at that, okay? Because there's a gazillion ropes on the market, and most of them are going to be really good. And it's really, a lot of them are preference. However, I am biased. I'll say that my personal preference has been for Edelweiss ropes and Mammut ropes over the last many years, but there are other ropes that I'm looking at. You know, I've got what I did over here on my whiteboard. I'm not going to keep moving the whiteboard or moving the camera or whatever. I'll just tell you what I got on the whiteboard. I wrote up there on the whiteboard for you guys, homeowners and persons getting into the tree business, you know, or maybe you want to be an arborist, or maybe you want to just work for a tree company or work for the Forest Service or something. By the way, I have this Husqvarna patch here. It says Husky Power, and on the side of the chainsaw, that looks to be a U.S. Forest Service badge right there. So, just letting you guys know that I noticed that. So, what are the patches of the day today? Okay, the patches of the day today are my Forest Service Bigfoot Department, U.S. Forest Service Bigfoot Department patch. You guys know that I like patches, and I think that the subject of Bigfoot is kind of fun. And then this patch here is kind of like has a vintage look. It's a Husqvarna patch. And then I've got the Woodsy Owl patch. And if you guys remember old Woodsy Owl, you know, he was always telling everybody, take care of the forest, take care of the land, you know, be a good steward, right? So he says, what's it say? Lend a hand, care for the land, you know. So that's Woodsy Owl telling you to do the right thing. And Oregon saw chain. I use Oregon products, good stuff. Okay, it's all professional stuff. By the way, I remember saying something about Oregon in another video, and I said something about the guy that founded the company studied beavers or something. That's not true. I for some reason I had beavers in my mind when I was talking about that, but it's some kind of a beetle, not a beaver. It's a beetle. He studied some kind of a beetle that chews wood, and the mechanism, the teeth on the beetle, how it chewed the wood, is how he came up with the Oregon saw chain. And interesting, huh? Anyway, the fellow was a logger. Can't remember his name, but you could look it up. It's on their website, I'm sure. Just go to a website, Oregon website, and look in about. I'm sure you'll find it there. So on my whiteboard here, I'm talking a little bit about personal tree kit for a person who wants to work on their own trees, or I suggest that you get an education before you start working on trees with a chainsaw. Okay, I suggest that you get an education. You can go to seminars out there. Just go out there, get the education first. Learn everything you can first, and then start out small. That's why they got the guy, the lower level Louis guy, running the chipper. He feels like he's doing something. He is doing something. He is a part of the team. He's getting all the little branches and whatnot out of the way. He's earning a wage. But then he's going to move up to the climbing and the bucket truck, after that. So while you're a lower level Louis, you need to start getting your kit together to do your other stuff, right? That means getting a good harness, saddle, right? So what does that mean? What's good, right? Well, you got different companies, you got different types of harnesses or slash saddles, and not every one of them is rated for a work environment. Regular old rock climbing saddles, they may be UIAA rated, but they're not rated, they're likely not rated to be used for rope access work, tree work, arboriculture, whatever. So you need to look at those sorts of things. What are the saddles or harnesses that I recommend? I've got I'll tell you five that I recommend that you look at, depending on how much money that you want to spend. But remember, all this stuff is life support equipment. Alright, so I'm going to give you 4 or 5. Mine isn't available on the market no more. I'm not even quite sure of the name. It's Buckingham Ergovation. Real comfortable. I like it. However, if I were made of money, I would probably buy these other 3 that I've got on the whiteboard. Plus I'm going to give you a 4th one as a bonus. But the Buckingham Navigator, that'd be a good one to look at if you're looking into something for the trees. Buckingham Navigator. And a Buckingham Agility. Okay, you notice, I've got my partialities here, right? I'm a little bit partial. Buckingham's been making this stuff since the 1800s, right? So they have a lot of experience with arboriculture and electricians climbing poles and all of that sort of stuff, right? They have a lot of experience in that. And they take guys who have the experience and they say, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Give us your feedback, So they you know, that's one thing about that company is they do take a lot of feedback from people, which is good. Now on my saddle, I sent them pictures of a couple of places where I did some sewing in order to tighten things up so things wouldn't move around as much. You know, there was too much play. Okay, so I sewed box stitch here, box stitch there. I sewed some more stitches here, some more stitches there, just to kind of, you know, keep everything lined up. And actually they used that on later renditions of some saddles I saw. They never told me they did, but I saw that they did. So they do, even if they don't talk to you and you have some kind of an idea, send it to them, because that might be a good idea and they might use it. All right, and safety is a big deal. So what have I got up there? I've got the Buckingham Navigator. I've got the Buckingham Agility. Those are two really nice looking harnesses. Saddles, saddle harness, whatever you want to call them. Okay. And then I've got the CMC Atom. Okay. ATOM. Atom. CMC. The CMC is known for their rescue stuff. You know, they're big in search and rescue. They make really bomber equipment as well. Their CMC Atom harness, you can custom do a little. You can have it kind of custom laid out. You know, they've got a thing to, like, you go to a car dealer website and I want to pick this for my car, I want to pick that for my car. You could do that with your Atom harness. You know, you could get your chest or your chest harness with the pick off points up here at the shoulders in case you had to go in and get somebody and maybe you want to clip into somebody or clip them into you, and then the helicopter wants to pick you off from your harness, your chest harness, which is attached in via Lifeline approved, you know, hardware, right? You can have it set up for that. I mean, it's pretty nice. CMC Atom, ATOM. I like that one. But it, you know, between $500 and $700, something like that, is pretty expensive. And you know, I'm just a homeowner. I'm not going out there and working for some search and rescue outfit, right? So, be nice to have, but you know, and also it's good for bucket trucks, right? What else? Entry level. Treestuff.com. They have a Weaver 4D saddle, basic setup. It's like $250, something like that, which is that's a very good price for, you know, an entry level saddle / harness. And it's got 4 steel D-rings, okay? And I'm big on steel for my tie-ins. I'm big on steel. Steel D-rings for tying in, I'm big on that. Because they're bomb-proof. You know, they're good for 5,000 pounds a piece, minimum. And don't have to worry about any hairline cracks or anything. None of that nonsense. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff when you go with steel. It's heavier, but if you know, it's more, you know, especially somebody that's brand new into tree work or arboriculture, they're, you know, they may not be as careful with their equipment as somebody who's had some experience, you know. might get kicked around a bit. Steel will hold up to that extra wear and tear. I like steel tie-ins. I like steel positioning points. I don't like aluminum. I got steel rings that I added to my harness. 72 kN each. Yep. Way overkill. So far overkill. I mean, you never see it. That's the way you want some of your stuff. Ropes. Edelweiss. Mammut. Courant. Courant is a French rope. They make a really good rope. We will come back in another one. We will talk about this mystery of getting the ring in the tree a little bit more. I did a video outside talking about it, but I want to get a little bit more on it. I'll see you there.